Okay, what happens if you have a vector-based entity?
If you have the vector-based entity, now I just removed that, then you use the other option. It's an import and PDF as geometry. And then this time I cannot use this one because this has no geometrical data. This has no geometric information. It only has a one raster image, and that cannot be processed this way. So I select another one. And before I do that, let me reveal what it contains. So if I go back here, this is the other PDF here. Mm-hmm. And it's actually a different drawing. But if I zoom in here, I can see that perhaps when I'm zooming, it's pixelated, but when I stop, it clears up, always.
Yes, it's always going to be sharp.
So it's sharp, always. That's
you can see this better on the angular lines.
Yeah, that's how you can determine that this is actually a geometric called data, a geometric PDF. So what it contains are literally lines and sometimes text and things that you can handle in a CAD software. It's not a JPEG data. So I minimize it and I open up it in ARCHLine, and then it's already starting up with the import of this file.
So it needs to process, but the good thing about this PDF is going to be that the lines are recognized, and that means that there are certain dedicated tools that we can use to turn this into a three-dimensional.
Yes, that's right. So when you do that, you can actually say OK, and then you can have this data. This is the same content. If you zoom in, you will see that this is the lines and everything. One thing that you cannot be certain about without measuring it, again, its size, whether it's good or not, because this can be scaled. In this specific case, this is actually scaled, I think, in 1:20 or something like that. So what I need to do before I start processing it is I actually measure it. Again, I use this tool. I like this because it has no trace. It leaves no trace behind. It just literally measures 2 points that you pick. And then I can see that, well, this is rather small, so I need to select this content. This is what I do. And then I can select the edit, and there is a tool called move, and it contains a tool which is for scaling. So I will multiply it with 100. So I would like to see something that is 100 times larger than this one, and I believe that will be better. But then if I check actually at the right bottom corner, there is the information about how it is scaled. I will see if it's okay or not, and then I can actually pick up a custom value as well, and that's what I will do then. So as you can see, perhaps I further
I think we further shrunk it. Maybe it's even smaller.
Yeah.
One thing to point out here is that obviously, as with any other images, for instance, you can crop these. So
yeah, I actually further shrunk it. So
yes.
Shrunk it. So actually, this is how you can process this content. You can shrink it or rescale it. But anyhow, when you realize that the size is not good, you can either undo it and do it again, or you can say that you would like to use a certain scale on your own, which is, for example, edit scale, and you just use the scale tool. So you don't use the predefined values, but instead of that, you just use something else.
Yes. Once we scale it, how can we process this? Because obviously we could trace it over. That's one solution, but there's another tool what could be used to turn these into three-dimensional smart objects.
Yeah, if this is proper scaled, then you will be able. Let me just quickly scale it, because now if I use the wall tool, it will be very tiny. So let me just use the other value. It's this one here. So once it's scaled, there is the tool which is also useful on DWG files, because actually when you load a DWG file, which we will do soon, you can decide how you scale that information, and then it also ends with lines and circles and things like that. And then based on the information, there is the wall tool which is called walls on DWG file. Let me just zoom out, and then I will use that tool here. And with that, this one,
yes.
I will pick one endpoint around the endpoint, and around the other endpoint I click, and then the software recognizes the line itself. And then I click on the other line, which represents the thickness of the wall. and then it will turn it automatically into a wall. So this way you can quick process walls, you can quick process even doors and windows, because there is this door by 2 points and window by 2 points. So you literally just pick 2 points on your drawing and then it will build up it in 3D.